your fingertips and hear what part of the image that is. The other thing you can do is you can imagine us building image search on steroids, where I'd be able to say, don't just get me pictures of snow, give me that one photo where the five of us are on skis on the snow, there's a lake in the background, oh yeah, and there were trees left and right. Okay, so to close today, I'm going to talk about video. As you know, on your phone, videos play silently. So we've gone ahead and built an automatic speech recognition system that is capable of generating closed captions so that you can understand what's going on in the video without having to turn up the volume. Another cool thing we're working on is we're applying face recognition to videos. So this is a research project where Vincent and Connie are at work. Their faces have been recognized and the video is being tagged with that. And, oh, look at that. In the background, you have Shreb and Mark just walking by. Their faces have also been recognized. What you have now is you have a video that has been tagged with the 4 actors that feature in it, okay? And importantly, the specific frames, the timestamps where they appear, are tagged too. Imagine the power this could give you to search through tens of millions of videos and find specifically the ones that contain the people you're interested in seeing, and also jump straight to the place where they appear. The last thing I'll tell you about today is I'm going to tell you about some research we're doing, and we're building these 3D convolutional networks that are able to categorize videos, and we're working on making this work sort of for real-time video streams. So for here, for example, you sort of see, fireworks, food, and cat as categories, right? Now, what could we do with this? Well, last week we announced LiveMap. LiveMap allows you to browse public live videos by location. I'm going to tell you a story. I have a friend, Ari, in the audience. And he's a bit of a baseball nutcase, okay? So we can use our video classifier to allow him to focus only on the videos that are about baseball. So what can he do with that? He can, for example, go ahead and find that game going on in Oakland. There's a game going on in Kansas City. And then maybe there's a game going on in DC. Now, the cool thing about the game going on in Kansas City is that you get 2 simultaneous viewpoints onto the same game, one from inside the stadium and one from outside the stadium. So there you go, Ari. This is a whole new game for you, right there. Okay, it's been amazing to be here with you today to tell you about examples of how today Facebook is powered by AI, but more excitingly, with the research we're doing, we're just getting started here. All right, thank you very much. And it's my absolute pleasure to introduce my friend and colleague Yasser from Oculus Research, who is going to tell you about where virtual reality is going.
All right, thank you again. Good morning. Today I'm going to talk to you about social presence in VR. Why it matters, why it's challenging, and what it'll take to make interactions in VR as rich and engaging as the interactions we're used to in the real world. Imagine a social experience in virtual reality that's completely indistinguishable from a real-world interaction in every aspect, in the way people look, in the way they move, where the technology disappears and you're simply interacting with another person. It would be incredibly compelling, by far the best electronic social experience yet. At the same time, making social interactions in VR as natural as the ones we're used to in the real world is one of the grand technological challenges today. It's a challenge because there's nothing people are more keenly aware of than other people. So the bar for deeply convincing virtual interactions is extremely high. But for the same reason, once that bar is reached, lifelike virtual interactions will be a transformative achievement, vastly expanding our personal worlds and connecting the world together in a way we haven't seen before. The list of ways our personal worlds will get richer is as long as the list of things we do with other people. In fact, it's as long as the list of things we wish we could do with other people, from the way we work, to the way we play, to the way we communicate. Imagine poker night with old college friends who are now scattered around the world. And the experience in virtual reality is real enough that you can tell whether they're bluffing or not. Imagine interviewing at jobs around the country without traveling, and the potential for doing that in a way that's blind to gender or ethnicity. Imagine working with remote teams as effectively as you do if you were in the same room together. You could attend a planning meeting in Tokyo at 10 a.m., work on a joint design with a different team at the main office at 11, and then conduct a sensitive negotiation in New York at noon. And then there's shopping and sightseeing and all the other ways in which we socialize with other people. You could spend Saturday chatting with a friend at a table next to a canal in Venice, jump to LA on a moment's notice to catch a concert with friends, from the front row seats, of course, and finish up at a party. And on Sunday morning, you could drop in to catch up with your parents as you do every week. Proximity would no longer determine who you spent your time with, and the distance between you and the people you care about would melt away. My interest in social VR is personal as well as professional. My extended family lives in Abu Dhabi, some 7,000 miles from my home in Pittsburgh. A very personal example of how distance inhibits personal relationships happened during the birth of my daughter. This is a photograph that was taken right after my daughter's birth. My son took her in his lap, and he looked at her for a moment, then he looked up and he smiled at me, and I smiled back at him. It's a really cherished memory of mine. I really wish that other members of my family could have experienced a moment like this as well. Unfortunately, there's no technology today that could enable us to make that sort of an emotional connection. It pains me to see my children grow up without really knowing their cousins, their aunts, their uncles, and their grandparents. They visit them once a year, but only for a few jet-lag days, and otherwise know them as moving images trapped behind a computer screen. That's not how kids or any of us build lifelong relationships. Now, your story will be different, but we've all had singular experiences we'd have liked to have shared with friends and families, but we couldn't because of their distance. If we can make it possible for people to experience genuine, deeply convincing social interactions remotely, we're quite far from achieving this sort of social presence in VR, but this is its purpose. The ultimate social platform, where physical distances disappear and we can have growing personal relationships with people across the planet. So, what is social presence in VR and how do we achieve it? Presence has been defined as the experience of being in a place, really feeling like you're there. For those of you who've experienced it in VR, a compelling example of presence is the instinctive hesitation to step off that ledge in front of a deep fall. Even though you consciously know you're in a virtual environment, you just can't get yourself to take that step. That's a sense of presence that VR can deliver today. Social presence is a little different. Social presence is the visceral experience of being aware that someone else is fully aware of you. An example of social presence is the hesitation to do things in front of other people that you would do when you're alone. Dance the way you do when you're alone, give yourself that pep talk in the mirror, and so on. So, there are three couple problems that we have to solve before we achieve social presence in VR. First, we need to capture the subtle motion of people in a non-obtrusive way. Next, we need to efficiently display these subtleties with deeply convincing avatars. And finally, we need to solve a problem called social prediction, which we'll talk more about shortly. But before we strategize about addressing these challenges, we need to ask a question. What makes a social interaction? In the 1980s, researchers created a game called Mafia to study interactions in social groups. Some of you may know it as Werewolf. In the game, a few players are secretly part of the Mafia, and the objective of the rest of the group is to discover who they are. In this video, the guy in the pink shirt randomly accuses the woman in the green jacket of being the Mafia. She denies it, but there's something in her denial that sets two other people off. Let's take a look. So what did they see? There was clearly a signal of some sort because they both independently arrived at... So let's look at this interaction once again from a different perspective. Try to see what set them off. Was it that she stepped back?